Devlete karşı durmaya, Yunusça dünya kurmaya. Söyle var mısın? Söyle var mısın?
Evet, saygıdeğer hemşehrilerimiz, saygıdeğer başkanlarımız, AK Parti Genel Başkanı, Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, İl başkanları toplantımızı katılımlarıyla bizleri onurlandırmışlardır. Kendilerine hoş geldiniz, şeref verdiniz diyoruz.
Kalplerimizin sesi kılavuzdur hep bize. Ne yollardan geçtik biz gönül gönüle. Mazlumla hep yoldaş olduk. Muhabbet, sevgi yoğurduk. El ele dimdik durduk. Hep beraber bir olduk. 21 olduk. Hey! Mazlumla hep yoldaş olduk. Muhabbet, sevgi yoğurduk. El ele dimdik durduk. Hep beraber bir olduk. 21 olduk. Şimdi bir olduk. 21 olduk. Yolumuz uzun bizim, hizmet var serde. Evvelallah buluruz dertlere çare. Kalplerimizin sesi kılavuzdur hep bize. Ne yollardan geçtik biz gönül gönüle. Mazlumla hep yoldaş olduk. Muhabbet, sevgi yoğurduk. El ele dimdik durduk. Hep beraber bir olduk. 21 olduk. Hey! Mazlumla hep yoldaş olduk. Muhabbet, sevgi yoğurduk. El ele dimdik durduk. Hep beraber bir olduk. 21 olduk. Şimdi bir olduk. 21 olduk. Mazlumla hep
Evet, ayakta bulunan tüm başkanlarımızı, konuklarımızı yerlerine davet ediyoruz. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Sayın AK Parti Genel Başkanı, Cumhurbaşkanımız, kıymetli AK Parti ailemiz, 157. genişletilmiş İl Başkanları İstişare ve Değerlendirme toplantımız vesilesiyle bir araya gelmiş bulunmaktayız. Teşrifeden başta programımızı katılımlarıyla bizleri onurlandıran AK kadroların AK Genel Başkanı, Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan olmak üzere tüm saygıdeğer başkanlarımızı saygıyla selamlıyor. Hoş geldiniz, şeref verdiniz diyoruz. Sayın AK Parti Genel Başkanı, Cumhurbaşkanımız, değerli konuklarımız, şimdi sizleri Gazi Mustafa Kemal Atatürk ve aziz şehitlerimizin manevi huzurunda saygı duruşunda bulunmaya, ardından İstiklal Marşımızı söylemeye davet ediyoruz. Saygı duruşu ve İstiklal Marşımız için lütfen dikkat. Şimdi sizlere hitap etmek üzere ardından yol yürümekten onur ve gurur duyduğumuz liderimiz AK kadrolarımızın AK Genel Başkanı Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'ın kürsü teşriflerini arz ederim. Buyurun Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı.
Yolumuz uzun bizim.
Değerli il başkanlarımız,
Distinguished provincial heads,
kıymetli il başkanları,
valuable heads of our youth and women branches,
genel meclis başkanlarımız, belediye
distinguished
başkanlarımız,
heads of our provincial directorates, distinguished mayors, valuable friends at COES, I would like to greet you all with the most heartfelt sentiments, longing and affection.
yapacağımız istişarelerin ülkemiz,
May the consultations that we will have today be auspicious for our nation, for our cities, and for our country.
bugün Prevese Deniz Zaferimizin
Today,
484. yıl dönümüne kavuşmanın
we are
gururunu yaşıyoruz.
enjoying the rightful pride of celebrating the 487th anniversary of the triumph of Preveze victory. Under the command of Barbaros Hayrettin Pasha, the Ottoman army destroyed the Crusade army, which is one of the turning points in the history. Thanks to this gallant victory, the Mediterranean has turned into a sea of peace and became an internal water for the Ottoman Empire. As the Ottoman Empire fell into recession, unfortunately, just like any other region, the Mediterranean has fallen captive to imperialism. Throughout the history, the Mediterranean hosted many civilizations, but unfortunately, the Mediterranean is remembered with the death of the migrants and also the power conflicts, which upsets all of us. The internal war that erupted in Syria led many oppressed children and women to escape from the region, and they have given their last breath in the harsh waters of Mediterranean. Rather than preventing those deaths, the Western countries continue to play the three monkeys at the face of such deaths. To prevent the regional crisis and putting an end to the conflicts and eradicating all those reasons behind the mass migration, no steps whatsoever has been taken so far. Unfortunately, the doors have been closed for the migrants, but the same doors have been wide open for the terrorist organizations, starting with PKK, which murdered our citizens. All those murderers who shed the blood of our citizens are hosted in many European countries, starting with the Greece's Leptos camp. As we destroy their caves in the Syria, the members of the terrorist organizations are constructing new camps to themselves in some countries. The ones who are speaking about the rights due to the neighborhood, first and foremost, shouldn't overlook those enemies of democracy. Last night, the treacherous PKK members wounded one of our police and martyred the other one. We extend our condolences to their families, and we also would like to extend our condolences to our police forces, and I wish speedy recovery to our wounded police. Thanks to God, the members of the terrorist organizations swiftly have been retaliated and sent to hell. So it doesn't matter which terrorist organization or terrorist members that you follow, you will see connections either with the PKK or the so-called civil society organization representatives which are advocating for the terrorist organizations and supported by the CHP, the Republican People's Party. So every terror attack of course, leave traces in the bloodshed. The same is valid for the Western countries. As we destroyed the Kandil and as we destroyed the caves of the terrorist organizations, the members of those terrorist organizations are embraced by the Western countries, and this indeed is a direct threat to the safety and security of those Western countries. Do not forget, at the end of the day, the snake eventually will bite the hand which is holding it. So the place for the terrorists are not the streets, but the prisons where they will be held accountable for the blood that they have shed. Without making any discrimination whatsoever, we are urging and calling upon all the countries, starting with our neighbors, to take necessary measures against the terrorist organizations. As the Republic of Turkey, we will never allow or appreciate the Mediterranean Sea to be filled with dirtiness and also the blood of the innocent citizens. As the Republic of Turkey, we never want any conflict or war. We want peace and stability. And we are also trying to broker our agreements through dialogue in line with the international agreements. Up until now, we have always advocated that we will never eye on the rights of other countries, but we will never allow our rights or interests to be violated.
Milletimizin ve Kıbrıs Türk'ü kardeşlerimizin mavi vatandaki çıkarlarını
We will continue to protect the rights and the liberties of our nation and our brothers and sisters from the TRNC within the Blue Homeland. So on one side, we will continue to opt for diplomacy, but at the same time, we will follow the footsteps of Barbaros Hayrettin Pasha, who stated that the ones who are dominating the seas will dominate the world. That's why we are improving our defense industry. The defense industry has been at the forefront of the fields where we progressed the most. So our country is one of the few ones who can design, maintain and produce a warship. We are one of those 10 countries who are capable of doing it. Our national warships, amphibious ships and also the intelligence ships, the coastal guard and logistic ships and boats are produced by us. Thanks to God, we have the locality rate of 70% in all those aforesaid projects. Recently, in recent days, we have assessed the construction of our multi-purpose Anatolian amphibious ship. The Anatolian multipurpose amphibious ship, after being commissioned, the defense capacity of our country will improve even further, so we will be playing in a totally different league. There are the ones who are trying to present the day of emancipation of Izmir from the Greek invaders as a shameful day for the Ottoman Empire. We are trying to do our best to deserve the appreciation of our people. There are the ones who are trying to receive political premiums by insulting Abdülhamid II. We rather show the necessary respect to all our ancestors, and we are embracing all of them. There are the ones who are insulting their own ancestors. We, on the other hand, without falling into any inferiority complex, embrace all our values and principles, and we will continue to our path with the same level of sensitivity. We will never applaud oppression, we will never love the oppressors, and for our future, we will never insult our past.
Hele hele 3,5 soysuzun ardında asla zarlık
And
yapmayacağız.
we will
Zarlık nedir biliyorsunuz değil mi?
never stand for
Köpeklik yapmayacağız.
the
Yunanistan'ı
oppressors
kışkırtarak üzerimize
as
salanların niyetlerini
a puppy.
gayet iyi biliyoruz.
So we know that the ones who are provoking Greece has ultimate motives, and we know their ultimate motives.
Ama vaktimizi
On our land, on our air, and also on our sea, we will never sacrifice from our rights and the defense of our country, and we will never leave the ground for those dirty games which are played against our
bir
country.
yandan hadsizlere haddini bildirirken
On one side, we will
kesinlikle sapmayacak kararlılıkta yolumuza
show them and pull them down a peg or two, but at the same time we will continue with our sacred cause. All those weapons which are accumulated on the Western Thrace and the Aegean Islands do not mean anything for us, because our strength, our means are way beyond all those weapons accumulation. But we also know that all those accumulations of weapons in the islands actually means a secret agenda of an invasion. At the end of the day, in all those regions, in all those territories, we have many people from our kinship and from our religion. That's why we are upset with the developments unfolding in that region. Any foundation or school in the Western Thrace cannot bear the name of a Turk, so they are the ones who are uneasy about the bearing of the name of a Turk. So we would like to remind them once again, and we would like to call upon them to come to their senses.
Amerika'dan, Avrupa'dan sizlere gelen destekler
The support extended to you from USA or Europe, do you think that they will save you at the end of the day?
mesaj yaparsınız, başka bir işe yaramaz.
At the end of the day, what you will be able to do is nothing more than wheel spinning.
Prevese Deniz Zaferi'nin 484. seneyi devriyesinde
On the 484th anniversary of the Preveze triumph, starting with Barbaros Hayrettin Pasha, we remember all our heroes with great appreciation and gratitude. Right from here, I also would like to wish success to all the members of our Navy who work heroically in the Blue Homeland. May God not separate us from the path of our heroes and our martyrs. Dear brothers and sisters, the geography that our country is located is going through challenging and dire times. Not only in our region, but the whole world is facing with many problems, starting from terrorism to drought to xenophobia and Islamophobia, all the way to climate change. The whole world is struggling with all those grave crises. Wherever we look, wherever we turn our face, we encounter with a circle of fire, as the saying goes. As the health dimension of the pandemic came to an end, its destruction on the global economy is becoming much more evident every passing day. As the economic ramification of the pandemic was not calculated, unfortunately, everything became worse with the eruption of the Russian and Ukrainian war. From Europe to America, many of the countries are struggling with the highest inflation rates of the last 50 years. every citizens who are living in those countries are facing with an inflation rate of 8 or 9%, but they know the difference with foreset inflation rates and the real ones. The negative ramifications of the Russian-Ukrainian war are started to be felt in different fields, from energy to the food sector. Some people, some shops are emptying their shelves and they are sacking their personnel, and this is how this process goes on. As the winter is approaching, the whole Western world is in great anxiety, and they are the ones who are giving recommendations to go to Antalya for as a touristic destination. The Western leaders are making announcements every day, so they are trying to prepare their citizens to harsh winter conditions. Despite all those heart-wrenching realities, unfortunately, the road going forward for peace is somehow not opened. As the Republic of Turkey, we are working sincerely to put an end to this war. So as the Republic of Turkey, we are the sole country who is working and struggling for brokering peace, both in terms of gathering the war parties in the same negotiation table and opening the grain corridor, and the diplomatic success that we have shown in the swap of the prisoners of war are the sole examples of our success in this crisis. Without falling into provocations of no one, we are determining our priorities. At the outset of this war, they are the ones who blamed us for our balanced foreign policy, but right now they are appreciating the stance of Turkey in this war. The ones who were criticizing us due to the orders they receive from outside, right now have to appreciate our foreign policy. They were saying that Turkey is in isolation and Turkey is separated from the whole world. These were the claims of the same parties, but right now they are sitting in silence and acknowledging our success. With all those developments unfolding, despite the fact that the opposition parties were standing against us, it is understood better that all the decisions that we have adopted so far were right. The same thing is valid for the economy. As we have overcome the pandemic crisis, we will also successfully manage the negative ramifications of this global economic crisis. Other countries are struggling with the upcoming unemployment and the economic recession. In addition to the inflationist pressures, our employment rates and the production capacity increases every passing day. After the end of this year, we will see the stability in our economy, and we will witness altogether how our economy is going to be strengthened even further. In terms of the industrial production in the field of agriculture and tourism, we have reached to the level of pre-pandemic levels and even surpassed in some of those fields. Every month we are breaking records in export. The airports in Europe are facing with uninterrupted crisis. Our aviation sector is enjoying the most successful times throughout its history. So we are yielding the results of the strategic moves that we have taken in the field of energy, as we are not giving any interruption with our investments in the energy sector. We are not leaving our citizens alone at the face of inflation and increasing cost of living. As we are extending the scope of our social aids and providing high price guarantees to our producers. We are standing and extending support to every segment of our society, from the workers to the pensioners. We are also easing the burden of our employers, and we are extending support to our youth, in another saying, by making use of all the means and opportunities at the discretion of our state. We are standing with our nation. Yesterday, after our cabinet meeting, from our farmers to university students, from our industrialists to our pensioners, we have heralded good news and the support packages which have been addressing many different parts of our society. For the last 20 years, we have always been determined to make sure that our citizens are not oppressed under the inflationary pressures. Of course, in addition to providing all those services, it is really important to explain our services to our nation, and we will accomplish it all together with you.
Benden dinledikleriniz sizde kalmasın.
So whatever you hear from me, shouldn't stay with you only. You should be explaining all those services to our citizens. That's what we are going to do. As the life cannot accept vacuums, there is no place for being overcome by languor in the politics. Every gap that we leave will be filled with slanders, with defamation, with lies, and also with deliriums. That's why our ancestors has this saying, as the truth comes out, the lie will wander all around the world. The ones who are politicians, who are also producing services and masterpieces, and whose hearts are beating with their nations, should be much more braver and ambitious than anyone else. As we are approaching 2023 elections, the opposition party, whose legacy is only lies and slander, obviously will opt for different methodology. As they cannot compete with us in terms of providing services and masterpieces, they are finding their solutions to defame and start a slander campaign to our projects. The last example of this has been seen in our social housing campaign. In order to balance the increasing household prices and provide places for accommodation to our citizens, we have taken an historical step. In the last 20 years, this government has constructed 1.7 million households. So with our first home, first workplace project, we stood in front of our nation. So what does the opposition party say? They are overlooking our 1.7 million households that we have houses that we have constructed, and they are trying to slander our homes. I mean, we have proven that we have constructed all those homes. We have constructed and delivered the keys of 1.7 million houses to their rightful owners already.
Gençlerimize, emeklilerimize, engellilerimize,
to our youth, to the relatives of our martyrs and veterans, and to our pensioners, we have allocated special quotas, and with a record number of applications, this campaign of us has been really appreciated by our people. But up until recently, they were the ones who were criticizing about the high prices of homes. I would like to ask them this question. What did you do? You have 14 mayors, and what did you do in your municipalities? I also served as a mayor, and by founding Kiptaş in Istanbul, swiftly we started constructing homes so that we made our people homeowners. So what did you do? You can't do it because you have no project to accomplish whatsoever. You can only disseminate lies, slanders, or initiate defamation campaigns. So they were competing with each other in order to defame this campaign, and through different excuses they tried to slander this campaign. As they are so incapable and as they have no concern whatsoever for this nation, they have made many scandalous claims. The Republican People Party and their supporters will never serve to this nation or will never allow anyone who are willing to serve this nation. Only even what happened in the last 2 weeks show us the difference between us and this freakish table of 6 in terms of mentality. Unfortunately, the greatest disadvantage of this nation is this incapable veggie opposition while we still have the People's Alliance. Hopefully, the 2023 elections will also be a turning point where this incapable opposition will be sent to the dustbin. I would like to call upon my nation who follow us in front of their TV screens. There are many important duties incumbent upon our provincial heads. We will never stop improving on those 3 pillars. One of them is the development in democratization and economic development. Secondly, we will continue to provide the same services and masterpieces which are touching on the lives of every segment of our society. And third, as the opposition parties are speaking idle and wasting their times, the only political movement which has a project for the future of this nation, we should explain that we are that party to our nation. As we explain all those features of our political party at every opportunity to our nation, and as we go to the 2023 elections, with the willing of God, we will stand triumphant and gallant from the 2023 elections. I believe in this. Since I do believe in this, if God is willing, we will accomplish it as well. But if we try to do politics from where we stand by pontificating, we will not accomplish anything. But I do believe that this cadre will accomplish anything. So I believe in you, so we will continue to our path in a determined fashion. Because we are not isolated from our nation, we are not disconnected from our people. But do not forget, politicians who are disconnected from their nations cannot be a real politician and cannot be an administrator at all. As I always say, the ones who found Justice and Development Party and made Justice and Development Party the government, and the ones who will give us the power once again in 2023 elections, of course, will be our nation. We have no support and no from our nation, and no one to turn back to other than our God. So as we are approaching 2023 elections, together with our youth branches and women branches, as the whole AK Party community, I want you to work day and night. So we should show this effort not for ourselves, but for our people and for our society, for our nation. We should also show these efforts and endeavors for the oppressed who are depending on all of us. Dear brothers and sisters,
düzey sorumluları olarak
As
sizler
the
yolu açtığınızda
senior politicians of our political party, as you open this path forward, you will see that our nation will follow the same path, because our nation, as it was the case yesterday, thinks that the solution to their problems lay with the AK Party and also the People's Alliance, and they know that they can entrust their future only to Justice and Development Party. May God help us all. May God open our destiny and path forward open and bright. And I wish that our meeting would be auspicious, and I kindly request from each one of you to extend my deepest gratitude and love to the citizens in your cities. I greet you all with love and respect. May you all stay healthy and safe.
Efendim bizler de hitaplarından dolayı AK Parti Genel Başkanı Cumhurbaşkanımız Sayın Recep Tayyip Erdoğan'a şükranlarımızı ve saygılarımızı sunuyoruz.